There's a million different places I want to take you. I want to start with the Zion situation in New Orleans. Damon Jones made an interesting point here this morning. He said, because Michael Wilbon speculated yesterday on PTI that there is some possibility now that Anthony Davis wants to stay or might decide he wants to stay in New Orleans. Okay, you're shaking your head. Let me start right there. You do not believe there are any circumstances under which Anthony Davis will decide he wants to stay in New Orleans and play with Zion?
Well, what I would say, to be more accurate, is that if he does decide that there's some way that he may want to stay, it's a complete shift from him. He, through his camp, has made it incredibly clear that the status quo is in full effect, that they have no desire to remain in New Orleans, that they want out. The only thing that they wanted to modify is that it's not about the Los Angeles Lakers. They would prefer to go to several teams, but New Orleans, staying in New Orleans is not an option that they want to entertain. They do not want to remain in New Orleans. They want out, and they're hoping beyond hope that he doesn't end up staying with New Orleans before media day to begin the NBA season. He wants out before that time, and I've been told that there has been, nor will there be, any shift in his position whatsoever, with all due respect to the highly respected David Griffin and obviously Alvin Gentry.
Okay, good. So it's a good point. So DJ brought that up, that and if Anthony Davis wants out, that they have to make that move sooner than later. You want to start the Zion era fresh and fast, and you cannot have this hovering over you into media day or, God forbid, into the beginning of the season. So is your sense that this deal, an Anthony Davis trade, will get done before free agency begins?
I don't know the answer to that question, to be quite honest with you, because Griffin is, he's smart and he knows what he's doing, and he's certainly not going to let go of the quality player, the likes of Anthony Davis, for anything short of what he deems to be equitable compensation. He's not going to be forced into making a deal that's bad for the New Orleans Pelicans. I can assure you of that. He's going to get what he wants out of the mix. Whether or not that's going to happen prior to the start of the season or before the NBA's trading deadline remains to be seen. But make no mistake about it, he's not going to push Anthony Davis out the door to have peace and tranquility in New Orleans, but it's at the expense of a productive player or players and picks and all of that other stuff in the process. David Griffin is going to make sure that equitable compensation is received for Anthony Davis, or at least something close to it. And in regards to DJ and what he said, I understand he's giving you his basketball analysis and all of this other stuff. Damn all of that. He knows David Griffin very, very well. That's why he's speaking the way that he's speaking, with the level of adamance that he is speaking with, because Damon Jones knows. He's just not telling us how, and I understand that.
Go ahead, DJ.
Hey, Stephen A., how you doing?
What's going on, bro?
I'm here to say that you have to start fresh. You can't bring Anthony Davis into the mix if he wants out. And going into Zion Williamson's first year, you have to start fresh, whatever you can get. I think you could get a quality package for Anthony Davis, and I believe you have to get it done before training camp starts.
Well, the thing that I would remind everybody of, and excuse my voice, I'm a little hoarse after with all the traveling, the games and stuff, but here's the deal. When it comes to Anthony Davis, let's be clear about something. This is an individual that knew that he was going towards a supermax contract. If he had made the All-NBA team or the All-Second team a couple of years in a row, or, as an MVP, whatever the case may be, the stipulations that come with being a supermax, the number one order of business is that you can only get it from the team that drafts you. Okay, so when you look at it from that perspective, for the most part anyway, so when you look at it from that perspective, this is a man that knew he was going towards a supermax that could pay him in excess of $215 million. And Lord knows, if you signed an even longer-term deal, it could approach $300 million. And the man made it clear he was willing to walk away. So if he made it clear then, even before David Griffin arrived, what would make you think he would change his mind now? You have to take into consideration it's not about David Griffin. It's not about Alvin Gentry. It's about the fact that he may want to be in a different locale, and people in New Orleans and other players just need to accept that. Everybody doesn't want to be down in the Big Easy. I love it. The restaurants are fabulous. The crowd is amazing. The fans are fantastic, but it ain't for everybody, and that's really the situation. Anthony Davis has been there long enough to know what he wants and what he doesn't want. And if the man said that he wanted out and he allowed that to be circulated and disseminated, rather than trying to convince him otherwise, if you really want to move forward by moving on from him and making sure you get the best package that you possibly can.
And finally, Stephen A., I have a limited time here, so I want to make sure I ask you about this, and that is out west, where Golden State had what looked like a really easy time in Game 1 against Portland. We'll see what happens tonight. But there is this conversation that is going on across the country of how good that offense looks without Kevin Durant, how they could win without him, how Steph Curry looks like Steph Curry again without him. And I just wonder, knowing KD and the mentality that he sometimes has about these things, how would you imagine he feels hearing people suggesting that?
He's annoyed. He's annoyed at the suggestions that his ego and his individual talent would supersede what's in the best interest of the team. You got to remember something. Kevin Durant, you might lament the fact that he doesn't handle every public situation, particularly with the media, in an ideal fashion. But the fact of the matter is that he has never in his career been accused of being a selfish player, somebody who put his ego over the best interest of the team. That's never been him. A matter of fact, if we recall, we got on KD for years about the opposite. He wasn't assertive enough. He wasn't the alpha dog that he needed to be when he was playing with Russell Westbrook. He needed to assert himself more, be more aggressive, take the mantle and demand it and be done with it. No. KD has been willing to be deferential because he knows how efficient of a superstar he is. He knows that no matter what system you put him in, no matter what players he's playing with, no matter what organization he's playing for, he's going to average 27 a night. That's who he is. And so when you look at Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and these guys and how great they look, it's not like Kevin Durant thinks that he's a minus. Kevin Durant is the kind of person that believes, I'm going to come back into the mix, I'm going to do what I do, but I'm going to ensure that I don't take away from what they've been doing. I'm going to help them keep going because that helps me. And his entire career has been about that. So to speculate about him feeling otherwise is probably ticking him off.